Egypt relies on Ukraine and Russia for at least a third of the 10 million tourists visiting the country every year. Tourism as a percentage of GDP plummeted from $32 billion in 2019 to $14.4 billion in 2020, a drop precipitated by the pandemic. Egypt's economic woes forced the country to take painful measures to devalue its currency and reform its economy. In June this year, it turned to the World Bank for a $500 million loan. And now, analysts are forecasting a surge in private investments and exports. A large part of that is encouraging foreign direct investment. At the forefront of that strategy is Ránia, Egypt's Minister of International Cooperation. I sat down with her to find out what Egypt's plan is going forward.
I want to start with where Egypt stands right now economically. We have seen a rise in inflation, we're worried about grain, we're concerned about the cost of fuel, but at the same time that you're experiencing the short-term pain, you have to maintain focus on the long term. How do you balance out this dilemma?
Since 2014, Egypt invested in silos for wheat storage. We did not have that before. Also invested in increasing agricultural land, and wheat was part of that. So when this crisis happened, there was storage capacity, and also there was 50% of our local consumption from local production. So this is when a country has a vision, it can weather different shocks. It can create that resilience.
All of these that you mentioned require immense funding, right? And during this time where you see, economic pain and uncertainty, how do you ensure that there's always fiscal space to fund these types of mega projects? So you're inviting FDI, you're inviting companies, come and invest. The energy projects seem to be quite exciting. Do you think Egypt is placed in a very different position to be able to attract this kind of money?
So a few important pointers. When we look at countries trying to move forward on their development agendas, of course, budget provides key resource, but also private sector investments are important, and also international partnerships with multinational development banks and development partners. So there are different types of financing.
When it comes to entrepreneurship and innovation, Mushat says Egypt's future is looking bright. The information and technology sector is robust, clocking in higher growth than the country's GDP. Between 2020 and 2021, the sector grew 16% with $3 billion in investment. Between 2019 and 2020, the sector rose by 15.2%.
So we have a demographic which is quite impressive, 60% of the population below the age of 30. Innovation and creativity exist, access to digital space is there, and therefore what we've seen over the past few years, a very vibrant and developing startup scene.
While there are many challenges, there is overall optimism.
It's not without its challenges, and entrepreneurship is about challenges to begin with in any event. And emerging markets have distinct challenges about sufficient capital across the spectrum and educating new markets new to technology. But this is a new era of success, I think, in Egypt now, and also through the Middle East and emerging markets. The Egyptian companies are looking not just at Egypt, but the region and beyond it. And look, I think we have to remember that while there are infrastructure challenges in any emerging market and pretty much anywhere overall, in places like education and health and prop tech and technology elements of financial stuff, at the end of the day, that's where the opportunity lies. And I think Egyptian entrepreneurs are leaning into that quite seriously.
And leaning into that is the Egyptian government, who are remaining laser focused on growth sectors during times of massive uncertainty.
The global environment is evolving, and it's been very challenging for everyone. But what we've seen most recently is a reduction in fuel prices and food prices, which is creating some relief. Something else which is quite important is we're moving ahead on different structural reforms that will open up also investing opportunities for sectors. So Egypt, I think, over the years has shown a lot of resilience, and that is something that we feel, despite hiccups, there is a medium to long-term trajectory that we're very confident about.